left comes off of that resistance area, then bounce right there, low of day, right? You could see where maybe I have my lines in. Now let's just go to this day. Let's move forward here, and we'll go to a 10-day, 3-minute time frame, because I just put those lines. So let's, what day was this? This day was the 5th. Oh, that was way back here. Okay, so I don't know if that's going to work out still. Regardless, we're going to a 3-minute time frame. We're going back to 30 days. And we're going to go back and see how those lines worked out. All right, because we were right about here. Yeah, we're right through here. So let's see how these lines worked out. This is the day that we were going to trade. Remember, this is the one day we came down, found the lows right there, right? So this is kind of what we weren't. We didn't get to see anything past the 4th or 5th. No, we did, because we saw this day. This is where we were. That's right. That's where we were. All right. So this was the day we were going to trade. Woo! Baby, baby! Look at that. That is gorgeous. The reversal offer right there. Pretty much nailed high of day to start off with. That then became support once we got over it. Let's keep going through these days here. That one not so well. Probably now want to add a new line in of resistance I see right here, because we then bounce off of it. Now we're, oh, look at the lines coming into play. Oh, now we're coming back down. And whoa, Nelly, look at the bounce. Oh, we didn't get there. Oh, we were so close. Look at the lines. Look at them coming in. Look at them coming in here. Now let's keep working our way back to you, babe, in the current present time here. And we cracked down for more. Did we catch lows? Yeah, we got close. We got close. New line didn't quite get in between there. It's a big gap between lines, you know, but this one worked out pretty well through here. Not, you know, not perfect, right? This is kind of one of those days that you may want to add new lines in, particularly, possibly. Oh, are we going to... Okay, we did crack down lower, but we did hit some lows and bounce off of them. Look at this day. Nailed the high of day perfectly. Bounce Bliss is pretty damn close. And we did this now, Dan, 2 weeks ago. At this point, 10 days ago. And look how well the lines are working out. Look how well the lines are so close. Look at this. I mean, we are killing. This is what you do. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, look. I mean, they're so close to being perfect. And we did that. Look at that channel built in. Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Oh, it's gorgeous right there. I think it's the last time. No, we did stay in this level a little bit longer. And these lines still, for the most part, coming into play here. That's it. And then what you want to do if you come in later in the day, you're coming in right now, you should already have those lines in from days ago. Right? Then what you do is you come in a 3-minute time frame and you go, okay, now I'm going to put new support resistance lines in. Maybe you don't have them for the day or whatever. And you're going in and doing that. Boom, there's one there. Boom, you know, there's one right here. Boom, there's one right here. Now, will these last till tomorrow? Maybe not. Maybe some of these aren't working anymore and you have to get rid of them. They're only working for the day. I'll just put one right there for now just because I want to know the next level up is a pretty good gap. Actually, you could put one maybe possibly right there at 2130, resistance support. I don't want to do too many lines. Then you're going to come in and make sure you put down, you want to come in here every fucking day and put down trend line. Every day you're putting down trend lines in. Why? Because you need to find out where the true channel's out. Well, the true channel to me, that's the downtrend. We just had a huge sell-off profit taking, and the downtrend actually starts off this candle. Why? Look at this almost parallel lineage. We got, look at this. As you want parallel trends. The more parallel they get, even to the sideways horizontal effect, the better the true move you'll get. They'll move more technically sound, right, so to speak. You come in if you want to put, there's not really a trend line in. There's kind of one based off this low. Now, again, just like in my small cap series, don't always base it off the low. It doesn't have to be that way. This is kind of the same thing with the high of day, and I'll find you another one where you may want to do that in the large caps, and I showed that off in the small cap series, where you want to start it at the high of day and keep like this. There's a downtrend, there's a downtrend, there's a down. And you keep basing it off freaking the eye on the top of the tower, the Sauron, whatever that tower was in the tower, the Lord of the Rings. Don't do that, you know. But that would be the lines that you put in, you know. Then get rid of this old uptrend channel. That's probably not going to come into play today. If you do want to put a trend line, you know, you want to base it off the bottom portion of where that uptrend would be coming from. And to me, it'd be about right there. So get some touches coming in, and there's your trend line, right? Uptrend channel, in my opinion, I can tell it starts probably from putting it in right there. And to make it parallel, and I can come down actually a little bit more and make it more parallel into those bodies of the candles like I want to anyway. And boom, shakalaka, bam to bam. L lay down, not done with the sitting, just not done yet. You're going to have to find a spot to lay down. So that's it. There's your trend line. Now you can get rid of these. Why? You just want to practice putting them in. They aren't going to come into play anymore. Why? Well, obviously they're way the heck down here. You're just not gonna. There's no way you're gonna catch those downtrend lines. So you get rid of them. You leave the lines in as long as there's a chance to catch them or hit them again. Why? On top of that, the other next why, if you break out and pop up out of this trend, this will be support as you come back down to it. Same thing if you crack the trend line and you come down. If you pop back on up, that old trend line, especially the stronger and the longer of a trend line, will become resistance and will fail. You will see that, just like you do in the small caps. That's where you put that's it. That's all the lines you would have in on this. Now you go do another ticker, right? Now you want to come over here. Let's go to at least Meta. We'll go to Meta. And here's a good example of don't start from the high. The downtrend is not, this is not the downtrend. That's just not it. That's not a trend. This was a reversal out of the start of the gate. This becomes the little micro downtrend that you have there, right? Then you can come in and put the down support line into it, more so with the bodies of the candles, if you, but you, boom, right? See how parallel that is? That's your trend line. You know, that's where you'd want to start it at. Saying now, once you pop up, you can visibly and should be visibly be able to see the downtrend, and there's your downtrend. Then the break of it, you can confirm, touch it. Now you're holding it a little bit. Trend line, start it for sure. This one from low of day. Well, I say low of day, but that low area, that's fine with me. That was your wedge you had forming. That was it. But my point being, let's say, in which I'll try to find another one, but where you have example like this to the trend line. It's not always from low of day. Like you find a trend, that's the trend. Find where the actual movement's going to. I'll keep finding more. I know you kind of get where to put support resistance lines in. I'm going to try to keep putting trend lines in for you guys. Well, we already did Googs. We already did Google. Let's go to B. B, good example here. You're not starting from here. You're going to start. That's where the trend starts. The uptrend channel. The uptrend, because you're starting a new trend. You got to always remember that. Starts from here, really. Because you double bottom, and then you pop and go. Now, your true resistance, you can go back and say it starts from here and say it starts from, whatever. So there's your parallel. But the bounce is, or I should say this bounce, the double bottom was the start of the uptrend. And for good God Almighty, stop doing this stuff. Now you do get a good decent break, eventually, kind of ish. Don't trade those downtrend breaks. You can see how long you have to be into that for that to finally be profitable. A very long time. The more severe the downtrends or trend lines look or appear, they won't provide for good volatile movement back to the top side. If anything, it's a bounce play that does, and it becomes the double bottom here. That's how you chart 15-day, 15-minute time frame. Zoom into the area and levels that you find the reversals, and there's a lot of touches. Use crosshairs. It will help you tremendously, a lot. Then if you have to, go back 4 hours use the 4-hour time frame. If you can't use, if you're going to an area or level you haven't been in for the longest time. And then the general rule of thumb are these plays go 250, 5, 750, 875, and 10. So if you haven't been like Google, let's just go back to Google and go to Googs here. And this play is racing to new all-time highs. And it gets over 34.50, which I would have said 35. So over 35, 37.50, 38.75, 40. Over 340, 342.50, 345, 347.50, 348.75, 450. Yeah, 350. Is it going to hit all of them every time perfectly on the dot? No. But general rule of thumb, that's just what you get. I was going to say, I bet that bounced at 12.50. It was close. It bounced at 12, right? So, and that's where we failed at, was 312. So you're going to find that over and over and over and over and over. For the most part, that general rule of thumb. So again, if you haven't been in an area and you're going up and, well, I can't go up into the left. That's all-time high, Josh. General rule of thumb, 255, 750, 875, and 10. Over and over and over on the way up. Are there any questions at all here that I have on the Discord? Anybody at all on the live stream that want to go over charting and levels? Go through 15-day, 15-minute time frame to start. Find your levels from there over the past 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. Find that area and find the levels. 4-hour time frame if you go further back in time, and then use your general rule of thumb. If you come in to the market open and you haven't ever charted that play, what you need to do is just like I said, 3-minute time frame, 5-minute time frame. Find the levels traders are using that day. If you already have it charted, boom, shakalaka, bam, to bam. Do yourself a little due diligence there, because your disservice is definitely coming in by not charting ahead of time. Doing the 15-day, 15-minute time frame ahead of time. Find that time to do it, and that way those levels, you can see how accurate they were. Like we were hitting probably 70% of the time those levels I put in were hit in good trades. You'll have to delete some, add some, but that's where that 3-minute, 5-minute breakdown comes in that I did for you. Find the trend lines, find the downtrend lines, keep them in if they're still going to be into play. Find the new lines of support, resistance, sandwich areas, that come into play. There's your charting lesson, right at about 30 minutes, capping it off there. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you have any questions, you need more help, comment on these videos. Like them, please. Smash the like button. Of course, any comment you leave, I'll always leave a little, I'll comment back. I will respond back. So if you have any questions about that, I can always respond and do another video, just another quick little 3, 5 minute, 7-minute video to dive into a question that, you may have. Use it. Like I said, this is how professional traders chart. So do yourself, like I said, you're literally a huge favor. Watch this over and over and over and over and over and over. Would you mind going over B? Yeah, sure. I'll go over B. 15-day, 15-minute time frame always to start off with. No questions, no ifs, ands, or buts. We'll start from pre-market this morning and go over levels and where I'd put lines in. So boom, just go over here. There's one right there. Boom. I'll put one that I know is good. There's one. I'll zoom in so I can see a little bit better. We'll start with that, then go from there and see if there's like another one I could have added in, which, yeah, I'll just add one more in just in case. I'll do this guy right there. All right, let's check it out. All right, so not great. Not perfect there, Bay 2, that's that chart, that 15, 15. Not perfect. You're a little all over the place, right? Where you're really far down, really down again. You're not creating a lot of levels for us to use, for the most part there. So that's one caveat. So don't forget about that. You're going to find it working out more like when we went to Google and you're in that trend for then you can really find levels a little bit easier. When you get this down, it's kind of like the one I was showing you, SMR. SMR is a lot like that as well. So when you have that downward look, it's really, the levels become a little inconclusive at times, right? Yeah, but that would be the levels that I'd put in. And then when they don't work out and you go to the 3 or 5 minute time frame, whichever one you want to use, and see how well they're working or not working, then that's when you maybe adjust lines and go, well, I see that it kind of worked there and I get that, so I'm going to move that one there. We didn't quite get down to that line. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but one that we have to just immediately put in is right here, right? Now, if we want to get a little bit more of a better magnifying glass, I don't really have another one. I just have the trend line, like we went over and found the trend lines on it. This is more of an uptrend channel play today. This is where the trend line is a trend line play. Levels aren't really working out that well. I mean, I guess you could go in and add like these little sandwich areas, but then, but that's the thing, because it's an uptrend, so it's creating that staircasey look. But there would be a line that you need to put in today. If you want to add new lines, there's a new line I'd put in. That would be it, though. I wouldn't want to overline it. You can see my original lines that are a lot more spaced out. We just have this, huge sell-off. And then we just build a trend line. It's truly just an uptrend channel play, and you can see where we're failing at right now, So that would be 100% it. This would be the lines you have in: bottom support, resistance support, resistance support, because of the uptrend channel we've been in from, for the last hour and a half here. And you can look at my trend line. Boom. This is why I tell you to put your lines in and trade them. The uptrend channels if you find uptrend channels, trade them. Like we talked about, trend line cracks have not been that, for what, I have no idea why trend line cracks haven't been working out. We're building some here and there. And like I said earlier in the live stream, you may have missed it, Bothie. What's working the best is the trend itself. When I never trade, the trends are working the best. The toilet seat movement. Up, down, seesaw. Because usually, generally speaking, what's supposed to work is you crack the trend line and then you'll build a downtrend for another hour or 30 minutes or something along those lines, like this, but back down, working through these levels, the red lines. Now you crack a trend line, bounce, go back up, gets wonky, does some fucking coke and meth. Next thing you know, he ends up in jail and he fucking doesn't know where he's going in life anymore. But this is what's been working. Fail, short, cover, buy, go, sell, short, cover, sell, short, cover, right? It's playing the top portion of it, you know, because if I turn that sideways, if I turn this sideways, what is this? Sideways. This sideways is fucking what are all these plays this morning? What were those fucking sideways fucking plays this morning? Where they're just going sideways. Amber's one I know, like right here. Toilet seat movement. I know they had an uptrend, but you get my point. I can't remember what those plays were this morning. What were they? I gotta find one. Let me find one. AEHL was doing that this morning in pre-market. I thought it was AEHL. Oh, lay down. We're still doing it in market. This is all you're trading. Resistance, short, cover, go long, sell, short, cover, go long, sell, short, cover, go long, sell, short. You may get lucky. Oh, fuck, we finally cracked, right? That is the same thing as what Bay is. It's just on a trend line, right? So that's what's been working, actually. The best part of the trend lines, because we're forming some, not a lot like we were. We were fucking, you'd see 20 trend lines a day in 21, 22, 23, 24. I'm not kidding you. Trendline City. You just call me Mr. Trendline. Find it, short it when it cracked by. And I'm like, nah, I don't trade it. I don't trade inside the channel. I trade the outside of it, the break of it, the crack of it. Well, now that's what's working the most, because when we break or crack out of it, we're fucking cracked out and broken out of our minds. Anywho, but there you go. Got it, Bothy. Bust boy. Everyone else, yes, good, glad. Like I said, I'm glad you're loving it. Like I said, this is it. It's how you chart. This is what to be looking for every day. You know, you come in pre-market, the night before, right at the opening bell, 15-day, 15-minute time frame. If you have to go back further, 4-hour time frame. You come in about right now, 30 minutes after the opening bell. Hopefully, you've already done your due diligence and your work, and you've got those lines in that you can maybe possibly use. The better, the cleaner the chart. As you saw on Google, we were fucking hitting almost every one of them. Well, some of those aren't working, blah, blah, blah. We see a bay. We need to add some lines. We need to find where the trend lines and the downtrend lines are. And hopefully with what I showed you, you now know how and where to put them in. Sit right there. That's a bed. You got it, Bothy. Yeah. All right. There's your lesson in large caps. Again, go back and watch this many times. The more you watch it, the better you're going to get at it, and the more you're going to learn from it. The more you repetition what I just showed you to do every day. Go through every ticker you can. Go to Apple. Go to AMD. Find the charts. Well, some are ugly. And then within you doing that every day, you'll like realize with me, a chart like 15-day, 15-minute time frame that looks like Apple, you want to run away from, and you don't want to day trade that. This is ugly trash headache medicine right there. Don't chart that. Don't even try to. Find tickers that look like Google. You know, AMD's not bad here recently with some decent movement. BABA's ugly. See, that's ugly. Just get out of here with that trash. Get out of here. Google has been pretty good recently. Nvidia is pretty trashy here recently. You know, it's a really choppy downtrend overall. SPY's not a bad one to do. Q's not a bad one to do. Go to your small, or go to your, so find some mid-cap plays that you can go. But point being, 3 to 5 tickers every day, you need to be challenging yourself and breaking down charts. Every day. Find tickers, break them down. Find tickers, break them down. Already got the 15-day, 15-minute lines in. Go in 3 minute or 3 day, or I should say 3-minute time frame, 5-minute time frame, whatever it is. Start putting trend lines in. You know, and start going. Yep, I can see what AK's saying about putting trend lines in, and then sorry, boom. Look at the trend line crack. Didn't work. Beautiful uptrend channel. Got really tight and consolidated. Cracked nothing. Then we're right back on up, right? And so. But and then we start noticing that, and you can start, well, yeah, trendline cracks really aren't working right now. They were for the longest time, you know. Right now, they're just not. Go in, put your lines in, and trade them. Until the next lesson, or any other questions you guys have on this portion of my lesson, I'll go back and do another one and answer them, of course, with another mini part. Enjoy. Rewatch this, please, over and over and over. Repetition this. That's how you're going to get better.